Hey y'all, welcome to the athlete briefing for the 2026 MIO Athlete Duathlon. I'm Elena Croy and I'm your race director. Let's get started with packet pickup. Packet pickup will be on Friday, March 20th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at our partner Red OK Runner. Its location is on the screen. They're conveniently located in Oklahoma City on 23rd Street. They've also got a lot of great things in their store, including any last minute items you need for the run, also nutrition, water bottles, things of that nature. We do have race day packet pickup available, but if you need to do that, if you're coming from out of town, go ahead and reach out to us now to get approval in advance. We want to try to limit the number of athletes doing that on race morning, just makes for a smoother process. So what's going to be in your bag? First things first will be your bike stickers. There'll be some stickers that go on your stem, one that goes on your helmet, and also you'll have your run bib that you'll wear on your second run. You'll also have some safety pins if you need them. And then if you registered before the cutoff on March 3rd, you'll also have a great t-shirt. And then new this year, you'll also be getting your timing chip with your packet versus in years past, you would have to pick up your timing chip on race morning from our timer. You'll be getting that in advance this year. Parking on race morning. This location has plenty of ample parking. There's plenty available. If you look at this map, the parking locations are indicated by these kind of green boxes. And then what you'll see here is the yellow is the bike in, bike out course. That big blue box is our transition area. And then the red arrows are the run course. So lots of places to park. And then there are parking kind of the transition area is OKC Town Park. It's kind of our race venue. It's in a residential area, so there's lots of parking, but most athletes and volunteers will kind of fit in the immediate area around the race venue. So getting ready to race, what you'll want to do after you pick up your packet and then before race morning is go ahead and attach your stickers. We'll talk about where they go in a second, and just look over your bike gear and your other gear for the morning and make sure that you have everything. The last thing you want to be doing is panicking race morning, because most of us don't live in OKC, so we don't want to be doing those things and scrambling race morning. You don't want to do what I did. This was my first multi-sport race, and I literally went to go check into transition and did not have a helmet. So thankfully there's a Walmart nearby, and I was there early enough I can drive and grab a helmet. So learn from my mistakes there. But go ahead and prep your bike and make sure that your tire pressure is good, chain's good, everything's good. You do want to make sure that you have end caps on your bars. We do have those available, but it's best to just go ahead and make sure your bike has them. Hydrate extra the day before. Make sure you eat a good meal before going to bed, and then look at the course and the race schedule to make sure you've got a plan that works for you. And then as best as possible, get a good night's sleep. So sticker placement, again, I mentioned you'll get kind of a sticker sheet. Should have grabbed one, but there's one that just goes, there's several. There's one you'll just put on the front of your helmet that is for your bib number so that we know who you are coming at us. And then there's another one that goes around the stem of your bike. It'll be two-sided, it just wraps around. And then if you don't have room there, if you've got a spare tube kit or something like that underneath your seat, you can always put it on your top tube and fold down that way. When you're doing it that way, just make sure that you're not closing over if you've got a brake line right there. If you're not sure how to do it, you can always do this race morning. There'll be tons of us running around in yellow volunteer shirts. We'll be happy to help, but most people want to do it the night before. So race morning, I know a lot of people wait on this race because it is March in Oklahoma, and we never know what the weather is going to do, so people wait to register. But I can say today's Tuesday, and this is one of the better forecasts I have seen for this race in both my time directing and racing this. We are looking at around race start temperatures in the mid to low 60s, very low surface wind at our 8:30 start, and we don't get much higher in the way of wind basically no chance of rain. That could change. This is Oklahoma. We'll post that if something does change. But at this point, there's really no rain in the forecast. The wind, there's not a lot of places to hide from the wind on this course. It's out and back on a country road, 2-lane highway, basically. But wind will always be a factor, but we're not looking at the high winds that we've seen in years past. No, looks like by 11 a.m. we've got 7. By noon, when most of us y'all are about done, 8 mile an hour. Now it is going to be a much hotter day, like especially than we saw this past weekend, or even than right now. But even at noon, it is going to be 83 by noon. But for a race start in the first part of the morning, it looks glorious. So be thinking of those things. I'm actively watching the weather. And if something changes drastically and we need to adjust the course or have extra ice or something like that on hand to make sure, that you guys are safe, we will do that. We've done it in the past and we will continue to do that. Athlete safety is our #1 priority here at TRI-OKC. So for your race schedule, we will have transition open at 7 a.m. for our TRI-OKC members. We do open racking in transition, which means the benefit of membership is you can get there early, check in early, and you kind of have priority pick or prime picking for the racking. So if you want to be by run in, run out, you can. If you want to be closer to bike in, bike out, you're able to do that. Transition opens for everybody else at 7:10, and then transition will close promptly at 8:10. We'll do a quick athlete meeting at 8:15, and then the race will start at 8:30. When setting up transition, here is the basic kind of layout. In the morning, we will only have one of the entrances open to transition. It'll be your bike in, bike out. It's on the north side. That's where we'll have it open. The run in, run out side will not be open. We'll have tape across it just to make sure that we can get eyes on everybody and do our check to make sure that you have your helmet. And then I've got on this map right here, you can see the pavilion is where if you are doing race day pickup, that is where we will be. If you have questions, you forgot your bib or you lost anything like that, you have questions, you need us for any reason, that's where we'll be. And then that red cross right there shows you where the med tent will be. And then we will have porta potties, extra ones on hand that we get brought in. But that icon right there for the restrooms also shows you the park does have built restrooms that will be turned on for us. And there's a playground right there just south of it, across from the tennis courts that kiddos can play at too. So that's what it'll look like, where you'll check in race morning. Before you get in line to check in, make sure that you have your timing chip on. You'll get those again at packet pickup. We generally prefer that you put that on your left ankle. Make sure your helmet is out. So if you've got a backpack to check in with, make sure your helmet's out so we can make sure you're not pulling an Alina and you have your helmet, and then have your stickers applied before you get in that line. Again, we do open racking. We don't assign spots, and TRI-OKC members get priority. And another thing there is athletes are the only ones allowed in transition. So if you have friends or tiny little Sherpas or spectators with you, they have to stay on the perimeter outside of transition. These are some examples of how transition can be set up on your bike rack. There's also an example there of a bike sticker that's on the top tube. Please be mindful of the space. This isn't this is one of our smaller races, so generally you guys will not be crammed in there too tight, but please be mindful of the athletes around you and be respectful of the space. I always see athletes that bring in the milk cartons or the huge tubs basically for all your gear. You don't need that much. You can bring a backpack or something small, but you really shouldn't need that much gear. There's no swim with this one. It's run, bike, run. There's not that much gear that you should need. So these pictures, the two on the outside are a full-on duathlon, and the one in the center is from our race, from March and Okarchi. So we will have volunteers walking around in transition. So if you have questions about where your bike gets placed, which side to put things on, things of that nature, we'll be here to help and answer any questions. So Again, here's this graphic and where the start line is. So we will stage kind of at the end, the south side of transition, where this little Google image where that truck is in the yellow square. We generally don't mark out a full-on start line, so we'll just kind of all line up. I'll usually have the bullhorn, or sometimes the timer will have an air horn, and we'll just count you down, and then you'll start running off to the east, and then make that turn north. The run course is a very simple out and back. And we'll talk about the run course here in a second. The pre-race briefing will be at the pavilion. We'll have a megaphone and let y'all know if you're chit-chatting and just having a good time in the morning to kind of keep us moving on schedule. So the run course. It's a 5K. It's an out and back both times, but it is an athlete's responsibility at all times to know the route. So while we try to keep these courses simple, again, look at it in advance. We either have a Strava or a Garmin for all of our races, a link to the course. So you could ride it in advance or run it, but there are those electronic routes posted so you can get familiar with it. On the run, there are 2 aid stations. We have this cute little map on the next screen to show you where they are. But this is a USAT sanctioned race, so all of those rules apply. There is a link to all of those rules on our website. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out in advance. If this is your first multi-sport race, we're very low key. We're here to help. Those rules can be kind of overwhelming, but I know we have at least 2 USAT officials that will be there on race day. While not in their official capacity, they'll be more than happy to help. When you're on the run or on the bike, stay on the right if you're a slower runner, so that those that are fast can pass you on the left. Little different with duathlons. You don't have to wear your bib, your running bib, on the first leg of the run. You just have to wear it on the second. And then when you are wearing it, please make sure it is visible. So here is the run course. That bottom right-hand corner is the start and finish line. And no, I've never seen a chicken that is that big anywhere, especially not in Okharchi. So chicken not drawn to scale there. But those 2 blue water icons represent our aid stations. There will be one just outside of transition. So you'll hit that. It'll be available to you race morning. And then you'll hit that one up top, right kind of as you come out of the neighborhoods and right before you turn around, or right before you come out of the neighborhoods, and then pretty quick right after you turn around, and you'll get it right before you go out on the bike. And then as soon as you finish the bike, you'll get it again before you head out on the second run. There should be turns at every, there should be signs at every turn. So should be pretty easy. This wasn't one that we've had people get lost on, and this has been the same run course since I've done it and/or race directed it. So no changes here, same old faithful course. So some gear that you might want on the run, obviously running shoes. Again, the bib is not required on the first 5K. Something's different that you might not be familiar with or used to if you've only done running races in the past is that you cannot wear headphones or any audio devices. That includes those fancy bone conducting ones that we all love now. For safety purposes, you just cannot have your ears covered. We want you fully aware of your surroundings at all times. Please leave those at home or with a friend or family member. Please bring hydration. Again, we have those 2 aid stations where, especially because of the heat, we're expecting the warmer temperatures. We will have Gatorade and water at the 2 aid stations. I recommend sunglasses and a hat, and obviously you need that timing chip. So transition 1, again, you'll enter, run in and run out is going to be on the south side, and you will bike in, bike out on the north side. One important rule when finishing your first run and going out on the bike is that you want to make sure before you touch that bike that you pick up your helmet and clip it before you pick that bike up. One way that I found is helpful, and a lot of athletes will do this, is that they will put their sunglasses in their helmet and then clip their helmet to the front of their handlebars or their aero bars, whatever handlebars you have for your bike, so that it's right in front of your bike, and that kind of forces you to put your helmet on before you touch or pick up your bike. It's kind of in the way of your bike. And then when you're leaving transition, you cannot start riding your bike or what we call mount your bike until you leave transition on the north side. There'll be generally a red line on the ground and a cone, usually about 100 to 200 feet north of transition, and we'll usually have a volunteer there with a vest and or a flag. That's called the mount dismount line. You can't get on your bike till you get past that. That's for safety purposes, both leaving transition and coming back in, so that we don't have those speedy athletes flying into transition or leaving transition and having an accident. We also, that volunteer will remind you if you forget, if you've just gone so fast on the run that you've lost your mind. It happens. So if you're unfamiliar or you're uncomfortable with, if you're clipping and you're newer to the sport, just kind of go over to the right side of the road so that you're kind of out of the way of those faster athletes that are like doing those flying fancy dismounts that we see on those quicker athletes. Quick note, this is just a layout of kind of the flow. Again, those red arrows are the run. And then the yellow is bike in, bike out. And then you'll notice here, I put an extra box for the relay. If you are doing a relay, there is we'll have a red taped box on the ground just outside of run in, run out on the south side of transition, where you can wait for your partner. So if your bike, while your person does the run, you can wait in that box, and then they'll finish their run. You'll wait there, and you guys can exchange your timing chip outside of transition. And then you can go into transition and then bike in or bike out, do your bike. And then if you're the run relay partner, you'll just kind of hang out in that square. You'll have access to the aid station, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do while they're biking. And then you'll just be in that square when they're coming back in. And then you can switch timing chips back in that relay exchange point, and then go do your run. One thing to note is that arrow right there, kind of in the center of the OKC Town Park, is that you will finish on the grass. We'll have a big finisher's arch. Usually it's kind of checkered, a black and white checkered, and we'll have some bunting that will kind of lead you in. So you don't finish on the road kind of where you started. You'll turn right and finish right in front of, right next to the playground. And we'll have people and medals and all of those things there for you. And that's just an example of how you want to walk your bike to the dismount, to the mount dismount line, and not ride it. And that is some of the bunting that you'll see leading up to the finisher chute. So on the bike course, this is a 25K 1 lap open course. What that means is it is open to traffic. So you want to make sure you stay on the right-hand side. We try to race early in the morning with the race start at 8:30 on a Saturday. There's not a lot of traffic, but obviously we can't close that road, the highway that the bulk of the bike course is on. So just make sure you stay on the side and follow, only move out to pass and then move right back over. And make sure that you know the route. Again, every time there's turns, we'll have signs. I'll go to the map in a second. There are very few turns. We tried to keep this as plain and easy to follow as possible. And we will have the OKC Police Department presence out there anytime you're crossing any major intersections or have any turns where you're interacting with traffic in a way that could be dangerous. So they're out there and we appreciate their help. Similar to the run, we are following USAT rules, which means no drafting when you enter basically like a 6 bike length area. You have 25 seconds to pass. We'll go over that some more on race day. Similar to the run, if you're a slower athlete, stay to the right. And then if you're a faster athlete, as you come up upon an athlete, please be courteous and say on your left so they know you're coming. We will have support on the bike course and race morning provided by our partners at Wheeler Dealer. So they'll be right there where you go into transition if you need some last minute air pressure or something goes squirrely on your bike. They're there and they'll be driving the course. So if you are to have a mechanical or flat and you're not able to change it, I always recommend that you are ready and willing and able to do that for yourself so that you're not reliant on someone to, do that for you. But we've all been there. It happens. They will be there driving with their 4 ways on. If you see them coming and you need help, you're on the side of the road, just raise your hand and that way they'll know to stop. And the last thing, because the bike course is only 25K, we will not have aid stations on the bike. Also, the nature of kind of the narrow course of this bike course, really doesn't make it very safe for us to provide aid stations on this course. So here is the bike course, literally out and back. The zoomed in area is the only place it turns. You'll leave transition and then make that left turn on a county line, go out until you see Mr. Rob at the turnaround, basically the end of that road, and you turn around and come back. Very simple there. It's not very, there's not a lot of elevation, but there are some rollers. Not bad. So bike gear, again, make sure your bike is in safe working order. We will check your brakes when you pull into transition. And then again, those capped handlebars to make sure that we're safe for everybody. And then again, helmets are required, similar to the run. No headphones or audio devices. It is going to be a bright sunny day. We recommend sunglasses and hydration. And again, that timing chip will be on there the whole time. So pulling into transition 2, it is the same transition area. So, but you're just going to kind of do everything you did in transition 1, but in reverse order. So that line that you went across before you got on your bike, you're going to make sure you get off of it before you cross it. We have that same friendly volunteer reminding you to wait to get on your bike. Will remind you to get off of it before you come across it. And then you will leave that helmet on until you rack your bike in the same place. Then you can unclip and remove your helmet. And this time, like I said, you don't need your bib for the first run, but you do need to put it on for your second leg, your second 5K, and then make sure it's visible. And you'll run out the south side of transition the same way that you came in after your first run. And that aid station will be available as you run out to complete your second 5K. And again, there's that same image just to show it to you again. Bike in, bike out on the north side, run in, run out on the south side. So the finish line, the post-race area, similar graphic. I just pulled out those other flows to make it easier to see what finishing will look like for you. You'll just come south on that road, turn right, and then pull into the finish line. Again, we'll have that bunting there and then that arch, so it should be pretty hard to miss. As you're crossing the finish line, please remember to enjoy your moment. We will have water, Gatorade, and a snack for you. And then this year we will have the biggest finisher medals in marching OKC history. So we're really excited about these. I've been posting them on social media. And then we will do awards for the USAT age groups. We do certificates for those. And then we do overalls for, trying to reach it here. We do have awesome cowbells for our overall male and female finishers. I'm trying not to ring them too loud, but they're really cool this year. I'm very excited about them. And then usually within a day or two after the race, you will get a post-race survey. Very short, but we are data nerds here at TRI-OKC, so we really want to get a feel for your experience and your Sherpas and supporters' experience at the race, and what we can do better, what you liked, what you didn't like. So please take a little bit of time to fill that out for us. It helps us inform decisions going forward. There's lots of things that we've changed and done differently based on you guys' feedback. And then we usually will give a race entry away for the next year to someone who fills out, someone that completed that survey. So if you want to be in that, just give us your email. There'll be an option for it. But otherwise, those are blank. And then when we look at those results, we script the emails out so they are still anonymous. So if there's something I didn't cover, or you still have questions, or I was unclear about, please reach out to us. Today is Tuesday. We still have plenty of time. You can hit us up on social media, or here's the club's email or my email directly. I'm happy to help. There are no dumb questions. We want to make sure that this is a good, positive experience for everybody, especially those that are newbies. If you did mark newbie and when you go to packet pickup, or even if you didn't mark it, we will have a new athlete liaison available for you. So if you have any additional questions, we're here to help, because I know sometimes this can be overwhelming. Multi-sport has a lot of rules with it. And then we have a bracelet, a white bracelet that we'd love for you to wear that just kind of shows that you're a newbie. And so our volunteers and our other athletes can recognize you and just give you a little bit of extra support on the course to help you get to your finish line and recognize you for your entry into multi-sport. And then new this year, we do have a photo drop background that we just bought that is awesome, and we hope you'll take some time to take some photos. Lastly, I do want to take just a quick second to thank our sponsors and partners in the community. First, our timing company, Oklahoma Race Company. We've worked with them for several years, and they've been amazing to work with. Tom and Debbie are awesome. And then our partners, Wheeler Dealer, local bike shop. They are great. They've personally worked on my bike, my spouse's bike, and then lots of our board members' bikes, and they've been amazing. And they're great to work with at our races. Mark Bravo at OK Runner, where our packet pickup will be. Only place I buy my shoes from. They're great. Swisher Beef Co. Local Athlete Keys. Amazing. Magic 5. They've got amazing goggles, and we work with them. And I'm running out of time. So we can't wait to race with you guys this weekend. If you have any questions, again, reach out. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.